Hello children, welcome to another session of Geography Class 8 Population Dynamics. Before we start, let's recap what we've done in our earlier classes. Now we have studied about the distribution of population in the world, and amongst the distribution of population there are areas where there is underpopulation and areas where there is overpopulation. Now, the distribution of population amongst there are the areas of low density of population, moderate density of population and high density of population. We have studied the impact of overpopulation and underpopulation on the society, impact of overpopulation, depletion of natural resources, then the environment gets degraded, rise in unemployment. Then there is impact of underpopulation, like the lack of adequate manpower is there, where there is underpopulation, underutilization of resources occurs. There are lack of people to defend the country at the times of war and emergency. So these are the various effects of under and overpopulation. Now, population change also we have referred to, and we understood that population change refers to the change in the number of people during a specific time. Now, under this population change, we found that in 1820 the world population had reached 1 billion. And it took another 150 years for the population to reach 3 billion. Now, during this time, that is the 1970s, when the world population had reached 3 billion, this time was called the population explosion. In 2010, less than 45 years, the population had doubled itself, 6 billion. So we had studied the main reason for the population explosion, and we found that the better food supplies, availability of better health facilities, cheap goods, which was due to the industrialization, all led to population explosion. Now, the reasons for this natural growth rate was that the birth rate, which was one of the reasons, the death rate and the migration. So today we are talking about the migration. We are going to study about migration and population change and how it changes the population. Now please children, please focus. Migration is another way by which population size changes. Migration may be broadly classified as international or internal migration. There are two types of migration, children. International migration, in which there is movement from one country to the other across the international borders, like countries like Australia, United States, Canada, they all have gained population because of the immigrants. That is, people who are arriving to these countries. But there are some countries like Sudan, India, Sri Lanka who are experiencing a loss of population due to emigration. That is, people who have left their countries. Emigration, now children please note, there is a mistake. It should be emigration. The first, where the population, people are coming to these countries, that is called immigrants. And when people are leaving a country, it is called immigrant. emigration, immigration. Okay, so like when President Trump says that he will not allow immigrants, he means that he will not allow any people from other countries to come in his own country to United States. Is that clear? Okay. We move to the next page. The general trend of international migrations is from the less developed nations and more to the more developed nations in search of better employment opportunities and high living standards. Now, it has been seen that people generally from the less developed countries like India and all these neighboring Southeast Asian countries, they are moving towards the more developed countries like the European countries or the United States, Canada and Australia. They are going and settling there. Why? What are the reasons for that? Maybe for better employment opportunities and high standard of living. Okay. Now there is another form of migration which is called the internal migration. Now in internal migration, the movement of people from one region to the other within the country is called internal migration. Internal migration does not have any impact on the size of population. Within the countries, large number of people may move from one rural to urban areas in search of employment, education and health facilities. So under this it comes the internal migration, and we can see that if laborers from Bihar and UP, they want to go to Mumbai and for employment opportunities, so they may migrate from their region to Mumbai, which will be termed as internal migration. Okay, next we come to the composition of population. Children, please focus here. Composition of population. Now the rate of population growth vary across the world. Although the world's total population is rising rapidly, not all countries are experiencing this growth. Some countries like Kenya have a high population growth rates. They have both high birth rates and death rates. Now with improving healthcare, death rates have fallen, but the birth rates still remain high, leading to high growth rates. In other countries like United Kingdom, population growth is slowing because of both low death rate and low birth rate. So here children, there are countries like the underdeveloped or the developing countries like Kenya. They have given the example. Here the population composition is different because here the birth rate is very high, and at the same time the death rate is also very high because they do not have the advanced medical facilities. But in the due course of time, they are improving with the healthcare also, and their death rates have fallen. And in advanced countries like the United Kingdom will always show they'll have a low birth rate, and at the same time they have low death rate also because of the advanced medicinal services. Next is population composition. Composition of population has a vast field comprising ethnic characteristics, races, tribes, language, religion, literacy, education, age, sex, economically active population and many more traits. So all these traits are taken into consideration when they are studying about the population composition of a region or a nation. Now, the study of the composition of population helps us in understanding the social, economic and demographic structure of the population. So, why are the social scientists studying the population composition of a country? They are studying it because it helps us to know about the social, the economic and the demographic structure of the population. It helps us to know how many males or females are there, which age group they belong to, and how educated they are, what type of occupations they have, and the occupations they are employed in, and what their income levels and health conditions are. So all these studies are made when we are studying about the composition of the population. And there is an interesting way of studying the population composition, which is the age pyramid, that is, sorry, the population pyramid. It is also called the age and sex pyramid. So here children, they have made this, they have shown this pyramid. This is the type of pyramid which can be seen, and this helps in studying the population composition of any country. To study about now what is the importance of this population pyramid? What does it tell us? Let us study that. Now the population pyramids help the social scientists to find out the percentage of male and females in the society or in that country. Then it is telling us about the age groups, life expectancy, dependency groups, then the economic development of that nation, so that everything depends on this population composition, which can be easily be shown through population pyramids. Now let us study one of the population pyramids, and here we can see that this shows the population pyramid of an advanced country like the United Nations. It is mentioned here. Now we can see that the birth rate, now in the x-axis they have the percentage, and in the y-axis they have the age. Okay, now here we can see that the population, that is the birth rate, is lesser, is not very huge like the other underdeveloped countries. So it is less birth rate, and we can see that it is not a pure pyramid shaped. It is broadened at where the adult age group arises. It's quite broadened, and then again where above 60 years also it gradually becomes narrower. Okay, now what does this pyramid tells us? This pyramid of this advanced nation tells us that the age group, there are the dependency is less, the working force is where the people of 40 to 50 years of age, 40 to 60 years of age, that covers a wide number of people. That means the working force, they have a very big working force who are working for the nation. And then the dependency rate, that is the adult, is less. So here this is telling us about the population composition of the United States. Now let us study the population of, this is the population pyramid of, it seems to be of some underdeveloped country. The base is very broad, that means large number of births are being taken, and the working group, that is the adulthood people who are working for the nation, the economically active people, are comparatively less, and the dependent people, that the elderly, also it becomes narrower. So that is also less. But the main dependent group, that is till the age of 18, is quite broad, and there are more people here, but maybe because of the non-availability of medical facilities, that now because of number of deaths, the working class is becoming less. Okay, next we will study another, yes, here, and this is the another pyramid here, and this is again of an underdeveloped country like Kenya. Here also we can see the dependency group till the age of 18, it's quite broad, and which shows a lot of people are dependent, whereas the working class is narrowing down and the elderly are still narrowing down because of the lack of medicinal facilities. Okay, next here comes India, and India we can see that is the Birth rate is not as large that of Kenya, it is reduced, but the working class people, where right from the age of 19 to 60, it is narrowing down as it is reaching higher up. So the working force is lesser in number, and then above 70 years again it becomes less. So this pyramid of India also shows that we are also developing country, and our pyramid is also not very broadened at the as the number of people of the younger age, that is the adulthood, the working class, is not many. Third, we come to this. This is advanced nation, perhaps this is Japan, and we can see that the population pyramid of Japan, it's not many births are taking place. It's narrower at the edge. Then it's quite broadened in between, where the working class, they're working very hardly for their nation. They're working very hard for the nation, and so it is quite broad here, almost a rectangular shape. Not many deaths are taking place, and then it's gradually narrowing down towards 80-85. So that is the reason why Japan is so developed, because it has a good working force. Okay, till this much children today, and we come to the question answers before we leave. Till question number 8 children, that is mention the 2 factors which are responsible for population change. You will do this much in your copies, interleaved copies which you have maintained. So I expect you to do this much of work for your next session. Is that clear? So goodbye, stay well, stay at home and stay safe. Thank you.